Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Zero to 60, and it's on N54 stuff, nearly. Anyway, before we get into the main video, I need to thank everyone that subscribed. We just clicked over 25,000 subscribers. That is mega. David and myself never thought we'd get that many subscribers. Thank you all very much for the support, the comments, the members. You guys make a huge difference. Just thank you all very much. We really do love doing it, and hopefully it just keeps growing so we can keep doing it. That would be great. The other thing, I need to apologize for lack of videos this week. It's just been one of those weeks. Nothing's gone to plan. We are in the worst, most strict COVID lockdown that Southeast Queensland's ever been in, to the point where the police are like fining you properly if you're out doing something you're not supposed to be doing. They actually said we're not allowed to leave our home unless it's to buy food or to exercise. So it's to buy food. And you're not allowed to go more than 10 kilometers from your house to buy food. It was like a really strict lockdown. It was a pain in the ass because when I needed like a tool or a part, I couldn't just nip and get it. I really needed an excuse to be in town at the time. And it has caused some delays, not just with car stuff, but other stuff we've been doing around the house, and it's just, things have just compounded. I apologize. Hopefully we'll be back to some more frequent videos over the next week. This video is actually on a B58 coil kit. Now, a mate of mine put this kit together probably about 2 or 3 months ago. We actually come here and we test fitted it up onto one of the spare engines just to make sure the bracket was all going to work. And it was hopefully going to be a cheap way to get some B58 coils onto my car. He was doing it with the intention of selling it, and that's why I'm going to be open to you guys about issues with it. In fact, the issues are so bad, I'm going to not fit it to my vehicle. Look, it's not that big of a deal, but we've got to dramatize things. Basically, actually, before we talk about this kit, I want to talk about coils in general, because it's a bit of a, I don't know, I see a lot of people on forums, Facebook, they're like, oh, I've got misfires, I need coils, and then you look at the car and they're not even making much power. Like, why are you getting misfires? When I first got this car in 2019, it was a really common issue with misfires on these M54s being caused by insignificant ignition. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, a lot of people were going to the Precision Racework coils, the blue ones, that are basically just LS1 coils. And yeah, they do pump out some power, and they seem to fix people's issues. However, this thing, my budget 17T car, we've all seen it. It's made over 600 horsepower at the wheels on stock Elder coils. So yeah, I'm a bit perplexed. And to be fair, I've only ever had, I had misfires when I first got it. I had like old mismatch Bosch coils. And it was when I first started running, I think it was the E40 tune or the race map from BMS. I did get a couple of misfires. However, I think I just gapped the plugs down a bit and they went away. Since then, I put Elder coils on, and the car's been faultless apart from one track day where I was running, pardon me, I was running too low ethanol mix, too much boost, and the car did misfire. Now, I don't know if that was caused by ignition or if it was just me being silly with the way the car was set up, but I did get some misfires that day. But all the tuning I've been doing in this car, I've never had misfires. JSR's tunes, they obviously don't push the ignition system that much, but still make a hell of a lot of power. So I was in sort of a place where I was like, well, you don't really need to upgrade your ignition coils. These Elder coils, the late, I think they're the S55, I can't remember, but the Elder coils everyone puts on these are direct plug and play. They've been absolutely fine. In fact, there is the part number right there that I've been using. Yeah, it's been really good. However, talking to Dan from Simply Tuning, he built O'Reilly. Now, O'Reilly makes some serious power. I know it only rolled 700 wheel horsepower, but that was through its lazy power glide and lazy torque converter and on Dan's dyno, which is a bit of a heartbreaker dyno, to say the least. Like, in reality, that engine is going to be kissing 900 horsepower. And talking to Dan about how he's gone through his development of the N54s over the last 5 years, ignition was a big thing to him. Like, he's not messing around. There's a reason that he was the first guy to get into the 9 seconds in the quarter. He knows how to make some power, but ignition systems to him were a big deal. And he helped develop the Platinum Racing Products R35 coil kit for the M54s. And I've got to say, I think if you are not restricted by budget and you just want to do things right the first time, contact Dan at Simply Tuning and get one of those ignition coil kits. Like, the way it works on O'Reilly is, it's amazing. They look brilliant. It's a good piece of engineering and it works. Unlike this. However, earlier in the year, MHD did add that little tick box, not tit box. They added that little tick box to MHD to enable B58 coils. Now, all that is doing is changing the dwell times for the coils, but it did allow us to run B58 coils on an M54. And if you've been watching the B58 development over the last sort of 12 to 18 months since those A90 Supras come out, the B58 TU motors, which run an elder coil, they're rolling 1,000 horsepower. The drag cars. In fact, annoyingly, the B58s are already going faster than the M54s, but it shows that their ignition system is up to par to making some big power. And I kind of wanted to try one of those B58 coil setups on my car. When the mate of mine come up with this design, I was like, yes, I want your first one. His car's broken, by the way. But hopefully his car will be back in another month or two. But I said, I want the first one. I'll fit it on my car and we'll see how we go. He actually dropped this off about 2 months ago, and we did fit it up to one of the spare engines we got over there just to make sure that the bracket was going to work, the coil was going to mount how we want them. And something that he did, which I actually quite liked, he's basically set it up so you can flip the bracket and you can run it so that the B58 coil would be mounted that way with the wiring coming forwards, or that way with the wiring going back. Now, the reason you'd ever want to change those is when you've got a twin turbo car, you're probably going to have all of this wiring box still here. Obviously, you still need to run your wastegate, your boost solenoids. You still need to run your boost solenoids. And even like your O2 sensors, the wiring runs down here. So you've got this massive wiring down this side, and the coil wires go here. They want to run that way into each of the plugs. That's with this type of wiring. Now, I know the Nexus kit, and there is nothing wrong with the Nexus kit. I think if we were in the States and we didn't have to pay that exorbitant international shipping fee, we would all be running Nexus kits. But their kits do run a extender, which is like 4 to 6 inches long, and you then need to run that extended wire and loop it round down there, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. And I didn't really like the idea of that. However, after playing with this today, maybe there's a reason they've done that. What we had sort of decided to do with this kit, well, yeah, it's my fault. I thought we could just repin the factory wire with a B58 coil connector, which we have here. And we managed to acquire for these test kits genuine BMW connectors, the pins to go on them, and everything that I was just thinking it was going to work. We'd even worked out with the test engine that this front coil wire, you need to undo all of the braid and actually pull a little bit extra through the harness to get enough room to plug that front one in. No biggie. We thought it was going to be sweet. I thought it was going to be sweet and my car was going to be running B58 coils today, but it's not the case. Where we've encountered an issue, and I've actually put my car back together, the B58 pins, which are these little suckers right here, they are designed for a much thinner wiring harness than what the M54s had. Now, before I actually took mine apart, I did want to test and basically try it on this harness here, which is probably just going to go to scrap or whatever. And crimping the B58 terminals onto the N54 wire is awfully tight. In fact, the first one, no, I threw it away. But the first one just would not crimp properly. And I think what it comes down to, the M54 wiring is just thicker than the B58 wiring. What I ended up doing with these ones to actually get it to have a solid crimp, I actually had to remove, I think it was like 4 or 5 strands from the core of the wire, right there at the terminal, just to get it to crimp on tightly. And it has gone on tightly, but in doing that, it just got a bit messy. And you can see here, I basically wanted to make sure that the wires were crimping on tight. One of the things I didn't like with the Nexus kit, the Precision Raceworks kit, or even the Platinum Raceworks kit, is those adapters. And I just feel like there's so much heat and crap going on in this section of the motor. I didn't want another plastic connector or a pin that could get corroded or anything. I wanted to go straight from the wiring harness to the coil, which is why I liked this idea, but it's simply not going to work. Well, I can't make it work anyway. Not in a way that I'm super happy with. About the only way I could probably get it to go today is if we remove some of the cores from the wire and then soldered onto these terminals. Yeah, the fact that I could pull them off without... There we go. I've just pulled it off. I spent ages crimping it. It was like my 3rd crimp attempt, and it just pulls off. I'm good at pulling things off, like myself. Yeah, so that's going to be this update video. Now, this is not what I planned. I'd actually filmed like a full install up until this point, but I'm not happy with the product, so we're going to have to end it off there and come up with another solution to connecting the B58 coils to the factory harness. I'm sure it's not that complicated, but it's not something that I can finish today. And yeah, even soldering them on, like it's going to be a nightmare for people to be soldering down at the back cylinder 6. It's just not great. So maybe this is why all the kits come with the adapters. Maybe it makes a bit more sense, but it does add cost to the kit. Getting those brackets made locally at a machine shop, it gets expensive. And then if you've got to buy other connectors and wiring and that sort of stuff, it's probably going to end up being as close to that Nexus kit, which I think by the time we got freight on the Nexus kit was about 600 Australian dollars. So it does get up there. Yeah, I was kind of hoping this was going to be a cheaper option for us Aussies, but it is not. So, to summarise, do you need to upgrade the coils on your N54? I think only if you're running more than like 600 horsepower at the wheels. This car never misfires, never been an issue. But if you want to go big, and I do intend to go big, I want to go for a single turbo. I want to be running this thing at like 35 PSI. Hopefully have a built motor in it soon. That's optimistic, isn't it? But yeah, I want it to be a fast DCT car, and I will need to upgrade my coils. And yeah, maybe some of you guys can see some other options that are a little bit better or more feasible for us. Until then, I guess my friend will keep developing. He might come up with another system to connect into them. The bracket's great. I like the way he's done the bracket. We just need to work out how to connect it into the ignition wires. And it's got to be a good, solid connection. I don't want dicky electronics around the ignition system, because that's where people are going to have problems. Anyway, I think I'll end it off there. I didn't mention the R8 coils because I think everyone's sort of given up on the R8 coil idea. They're definitely not, they don't seem to last as well as people wanted them to, and I've seen a lot of people install the R8 coils, then remove them later on. The fact that the B58 coil is basically plug and play after you do the retune with MHD, or reflash with MHD. In fact, I think you can run them with the same dwells as the stock N54 coils and not have any issues. You just won't benefit from the extra power of the coil. I think the B58 coils will be a nice budget option for people that aren't going all out with a race motor like O'Reilly. Yeah, I'll end it off there, guys. Sorry for the lack of videos. This one's going to get uploaded shortly. And tomorrow's video, I've already started doing it, preempting issues. We're going to be doing a full brake bleed on this because this fluid has never had a full flush. I need to talk about the brake lines, the China brakes, maybe a bit of a review. I know everyone wants to see it. All right, we'll end it off there. Thank you very much. Peace.